Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I am Jeffrey Cooperstein. On today's show, we're going to break down 5 burning questions surrounding the Dallas Mavericks and the upcoming 2024-25 season. Can the Mavs make it back to the NBA Finals? We'll dissect a few unknowns that may be around the team. But before we get into today's show, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon. Help us get to 300 likes. The bosses told me we're not getting enough thumbs up on our show, so please do it now so I don't have to hear from my bosses over the weekend. Let's get right in to the burning questions. Question number 1. Can Klay Thompson contribute defensively? We know what Klay can bring on the offensive end, and that is absolutely elite shooting. He is the second best shooter in NBA history, bar none. The guy had a quote-unquote down year last year, shot 38.5% from 3 on 9 attempts. That's still very good efficiency on high volume, and if I believe Klay is going to shoot somewhere in the neighborhood of like 42 to 45%. Think of the open looks he's going to get from 3. He doesn't even have to dribble. If he just stands there in the corner, Luka will find him. That will be no problem. And Klay will just knock them down at an extremely high clip. So no worries there. However, I do have worries about Klay defensively. I think the injuries that he had with the torn ACL and Achilles have made him lose a step. And I'm not sure he's the elite defensive player he once was. At one time, Klay might have been the best two-way player in the NBA. He was an all-NBA defensive first-team guy, as well as one of the best shooters in the game. So it'll be interesting to see if he can guard defensively. And with him starting at the 3, he will probably be guarding threes on most nights. I bet him and Luka will be switching off on who guards the 3. And those matchups aren't fantastic for Klay nowadays, given his status. But I think this is a major question if the Mavs can get back to the finals. Klay has to contribute defensively, and the Mavs have to be like a top 12 defensive team next year if they're able to. Another question I have is, will Lively take the next step? Dereck Lively had a better rookie season than I think any of us could have ever imagined for the Mavericks. He kind of was the straw that made the straw that made it drink. You know what I'm talking about. The Reggie Jackson saying. We can move on from that. God, it's Friday. I'm just trying to get out of here. He had 8 points and 7 boards, block and a half a night, and 74.5% from the field for Lively in his rookie season in 55 games. Started over half those as well, and then when the Mavericks made the trade for Daniel Gafford, he moved to the bench, and Gafford was in the starting lineup. Now, Lively still played a lot off the bench. I just think his potential is, frankly, limitless. He's going to be the starting center for the team this year, and when he's catching those lobs from Luka, it is almost automatic that he's going to go up and throw it down. The one scary thing and scary good thing about Dereck Lively is he is working on his three-point shot. We saw it in the NBA Finals. He made that corner 3. The jumper looked smooth, and it was nothing but net. Let me tell you what, if this guy can make 35% from 3, league average, whatever that is, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with and just opens up so many more opportunities for this Mavericks team on the offensive end. And I really think that is the next step in his development. If he can knock down the 3 with consistency, Dereck Lively is going to be a special player in this league. I thought this might have been a little aggressive of an over-under for All-Star games made for Dereck Lively. 1.5. Type O for over, type U for under. Do you think Lively will make more or less than 1.5 All-Star games in his career? He's in year 2 of hopefully like a 15-year career. If I had to guess right now, I'm going to take the O. I think Lively's going to get to at least 2 All-Star games in his career, and I know it's hard to make an All-Star game, so it'll be difficult, but I do believe in Lively's potential, and I believe in his potential, especially with this team. Is this the year for Jaden Hardy? Going into year 3, I think Hardy is kind of in a make-or-break situation here with the Dallas Mavericks. He didn't find a role really in year 1. In year 2 this year, he started to integrate himself into the rotation more and more. His rookie season, 8.8 points per game. Pretty decent efficiency from 3, not so much from the field. This year, his numbers dipped across the board a little bit, but he did end up playing in 73 games, which is more than I expected, by the way, when I looked up his stats earlier. Just over 7 points and 36% from the field on 3 attempts from 3. This is a do or die for Jaden. I think the Mavericks would like him to be the 6th man coming off the bench and being that volume scorer that all great NBA teams have in the 6th-man role. I think they wanted that to be him last season, but they couldn't find a way to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. Over the 2023 NBA offseason, so Hardy's role was kind of diminished in that aspect. But now with Hardaway out of the picture, I expect Hardy to be a volume scorer that the Mavericks end up going to. And if he can't prove to be that guy, I could see the Mavericks trying to find other opportunities for Hardy elsewhere, maybe in a trade at the deadline or in the following offseason. Another very important question that you have to ask yourself this offseason if you're the Dallas Mavericks is, can Naji Marshall replicate Derrick Jones Jr.'s production? I love the Naji Marshall fit. Shout out producer Seep, zip him up, baby. Naji Marshall, he was really good for the Pelicans last year. 38.7% from three is the one that I'm looking at. I really don't care about the rest. The rebounding's fine, 3.5 boards a night, but where he's going to have the impact is on the defensive end, and I think Naji is just as good, if not better, of a defender than Derrick Jones. Now, they're different defenders. Jones is more of a guy who guards 2s and 3s, whereas Naji Marshall is a guy that guards 3s and 4s. So that'll be a different aspect of the game, but Naji, he's 6'7", 220. He's a big physical wing who's going to be able to guard probably the opposing team's best player on any given night. I believe Naji is going to be that guy. He will end up coming off the bench to start because Klay Thompson's going to occupy that starting 3 role. But when the Mavericks make that first rotation 6 minutes into the game when Kyrie Irving comes out, I believe Kyrie will come out and Naji Marshall will come in. And your basically first rotation with Naji as your quote-unquote 6-man will be Luka, Thompson, Marshall, Washington, and Lively. That's a pretty good defensive lineup if you ask me. So if Naji can replicate what Derrick Jones did, I think the Mavs are going to be well-positioned to get back to the finals next season. What do you guys think is the biggest question facing the Mavericks this year? We have one more to get to, which I think will be the biggest one. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I think this is the biggest question. Can Luka stay healthy? He played 100 total games in the 2023-24 season, 8 FIBA World Cup games, 22 playoff games, and then the remaining regular season games. He was dealing with all kinds of injuries. He had a knee injury. He had an ankle injury. He had the chest contusion there in the finals as well. And by the way, he is currently still playing for Slovenia as they try to qualify for the 2024 Olympics out in Paris. Luka needs to rest, and they need to be able to manage his minutes so he can stay healthy throughout the postseason. I thought Luka was really good in the postseason, but he wasn't great. And where he can be great is if he becomes fully healthy in the playoffs and is able to exert more energy in the postseason than he otherwise was. Because by the time the finals were over, he was completely gassed and just had nothing left in the tank. So if Luka can stay healthy, it kind of goes for the rest of the team as well. If he can stay healthy, if Kyrie can stay healthy, if Lively can play more than 55 games, the Mavericks are going to be in a good position. Once again, let me know if you guys have a burning question for the Mavericks down in the comments. Here are my 5. But if you have more, let me know in the comments. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button.